Welcome to this month's edition of our Good Talk. I'm Katy Gaul-Stigge, President and CEO of Goodwill, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the 11th Good Talk of our series. We're going to go back to virtual. We're not done with all of this. We're still thinking about virtual living and making our meetings this way. If you've missed any of the other previous Good Talks, you can catch them on YouTube. There's some great ones. And I hope everyone is staying cool, especially today. We were just discussing how the summer has gotten all of a sudden very, very hot. First things first, I'm actually really thrilled to have Jerry Rivera here today because he's one of our examples of our double impact. He is a retail team member who's come over to the mission side. And so I'm going to talk about retail for a second, which is what everybody knows about Goodwill. Everybody knows the thrift stores first. They're a wonderful way to buy sustainably. Please donate your clothing, your lightly used items. And that really helps us, with the engine and helps us feed this flywheel of all this great work that we can do for people, of removing barriers to people in employment. So make sure you're doing that. If you have those old summer things or old winter things that you're not using, we'd love that. In fact, last year we repurposed over 39 million pounds of pre-loved clothing and home goods, saving 57 metric tons of CO2 from entering the atmosphere, which we're very proud of. I'm excited about this July. It's Disability Pride Month, and yesterday was the ADA's anniversary, and that's the American Disabilities Act. And I actually did something I don't always do. I just looked up what the president, Bush, the first, said on this signing. And I'm going to read you a quote here. This act is powerful in its simplicity. It will ensure that people with disabilities are given basic guarantees for which they've worked so hard: independence, freedom of choice, control of their lives, and the opportunity to blend fully and equally into the rich mosaic of the American. Legally, it'll provide our disabled community with a powerful expansion of protections and basic civil rights. And then specifically, the ADA ensures that employers cannot discriminate against qualified individuals with disabilities. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I am thrilled to kind of reread this and see where we've come so far, because the ADA really has some of the same embodiments that the president was speaking about there, about access, opportunity, making sure no talent is left on the sidelines. And that is the same point of view that Goodwill has and that we've had for 108 years. And we're thrilled to have the ADA in place for the last 33. So we approach our day services without walls. We've got our supportive employment program that you're going to hear about today, as well as clubhouses and many other programs for people with intellectual disability, autism, behavioral health, other diagnoses. And if you are interested in joining any of our programs, I hope that you do. You can always email us at services@goodwillny.org. And we'll make sure that that's out. And I actually was out yesterday and I gave that email out twice to people. People are coming up to me and asking me how they can get involved and looking for services. And we are thrilled to enroll you in our clubhouse programs and our other programs. We know that hiring people with disabilities is smart for employers, and we know that there's a world of employment options for people with disabilities out there. So last year here at Goodwill, we supported over 9,000 people, many of them workers with disabilities and some without. And the mission at Goodwill is always to bulldoze these barriers and to get everyone into employment. So I invited Rudy, hi Rudy, and your job coach, Jerry, to join me today. And so I think we'll have a little interview, a little chat. I'd love to hear from both of you and hear a little bit about the story. So I'll start with you, Jerry. It's great to see you again. I know I've seen you at you started as sales associate in our Long Island City, Queens store outlet. Very special shopping experience for those of you who haven't been there. It's not your regular store. thanks to your dedication, you're promoted to sales specialist 4 months later, and then assistant store manager 3 months later, where you learn more about our mission program. And you were just telling me gain some more leadership skills that you thought you could use in the mission team. And you applied for this current job coach position last October. So welcome, almost up to a year. That's awesome.
Yes.
You're,
Yeah.
as I was saying, there's not a ton of team members that move back and forth, but you're one of them. And we really, I know that that's why a lot of our thrift team members are here, is because of our mission as well. So everybody's working in the same direction. So thanks, Jerry. We've also invited Rudy, a person who lives in Queens, and Rudy's in our programs, and your story is a little bit typical of many of the workers with disabilities that we serve and that we've got job coaches with. So I want to get to your story from you. So Rudy, why don't you tell us what was going on in your life before you came to Goodwill?
My name is Rudy. Me and my parents migrated from Guyana in 2005. I was 15 years old.
When you came to the United States, did you go to the school or any programs?
I attended John F. Kennedy High School and I graduated in 2008, and I started to volunteer.
So to provide more context of what he's explaining, so Rudy was in a specialized high school until the age of 18, where he graduated in 2008, which he mentioned, but he didn't officially finish the specialized program until 2011. So during those traditional periods, he volunteered at a hospital, which is Jamaica Hospital, as a bill clerk, and then he went into Trump Nursing Home as an assistant aide. During those traditional experience, which was 2 to 3 years, he gained experience in the work field and developed different work skills, which now he uses today.
Great, thank you for that. And how did you find out about Goodwill as you were transitioning out of high school in those programs?
I wanted a job, so my teacher told me about Goodwill.
Great, I'm glad. That sounds like a great teacher.
Yeah, so usually during the traditional periods, the teachers, usually when he volunteers, the overall goal is for him to get employed. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So that's when it goes to different agencies, which where Goodwill comes in play. And depending on what the participant wants, if he expressed interest in employment, they transition him into the Goodwill supported employment, which is where he is now.
Awesome. So when you came to Goodwill, did the Goodwill program help you, and how did we do it?
They helped me prepare for a job, with interviews, question, how to dress, with applications and travel training.
And I heard you joined Goodwill's Job Club back in the day. And what do you do? What is the Job Club about?
The Job Club is about improving on your work skills, socializing with people, how to interact in the community. Dress.
So to give a little bit more details on Job Club, so basically what he was saying, it's basically overall the improvement. So it's basically working on what the skills of our participants have at the moment. So we're just sharpening those skills just to keep it in motion, especially the ones that are still unemployed. So we kind of push for them to still attend our club. So their skills are still being used and being utilized during that time where we're looking for employment.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. So Rudy, over the years, has Goodwill helped you find several jobs?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about where you've worked?
I work in Kmart, Walgreens, and now currently USMMA.
Great. And can you tell me what a job coach does and what's it like to have a job coach?
A job coach helped me with work skills, how to keep the job, and job coaching.
And one of the things that I think is interesting is that job coaches like Jerry, they actually come to the works, like the Walgreens or Kmart or your place of work at right now, you said USMMA, yes. And it's the United States Merchant Marine Academy for those of us not in the know. So having a job coach is someone who, tell me what it's, oh, yeah, there's a bug in there. Like,
Sorry. So basically, it's it's divided into two different things. It's intensive and extended. So usually everyone starts in as intensive, meaning that it's very much hands-on training, hands-on teaching, which could be different forms. Usually we stay with them for the period of 2 to 3 months when they start employment, just so they're comfortable, their employer is comfortable, and everyone else is happy. Once we assess that they're fine, that's when we start transitioning into the extended side, which means more hands-off training, more independence starts building in. And that's usually, with the participants, approval, and of course the employers as well, because we want both inputs, and they're the one working and they're the ones that are providing those, the job as well. So that's usually how Rudy started out in Kmart. He was intensive at first because that was his first job, and we were trying to assess, his work skills that he learned at Job Club and other programs at an actual job site.
Mhm. And so from the employer point of view, if I'm the manager, I've got Rudy, he's working, and then I've got you, Jerry, you're there too, and we're kind of all talking about the work together a little bit. Is that how it goes?
So usually you could think of a job coach basically as a shadow in the sense. So basically you're basically a second guide and a well. So they go to us for anything. We're basically also learning the job with the participant as well. So usually when they just start employment, we go in there during orientation. So basically we're like a second employee with them as well, providing assistance as well. Because we're learning as the participant learns as well. So we're learning at the same pace, and then we're teaching them as well. Giving them tips and tricks on how to improve the skills that we learn.
That's wonderful. So Rudy, tell me a little bit. You worked at Kmart first, then you worked at Walgreens. Do you want to just tell me a little bit about all these different jobs that you've had?
Well, in Kmart first, I was a maintenance worker. I worked there from 2013 to 2018, and then I moved on to Walgreens. But due to Walgreens, I did stacking, and I had problem reading. So my job coach informed me to try USMMA as a maintenance worker, and that's where I'm currently working now.
It's great. So, I mean, finding the right job for you, not every job is going to work out for everyone, and we all know that. So that's great. I love that the job coach was able to work with you on those skills, and that wasn't, is not a match. So we're going to find you something that you can do and that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
And why? So speaking of enjoy, why do you like going to work at USMMA?
So improve on my work skill, be independent, and socializing.
Yeah. Do you have coworkers that you like? And
yeah,
that's great. What is it like there? I've never been there. Is it when you say Merchant Marine Academy, I'm not really sure what to picture in my mind.
Is a college.
Oh, it's okay. It's like a college for them. Okay.
It's like a militarized college, basically, where it's like a 4-year regular college where kids attend and
to join the Marine, yeah.
Marines, military, or other in the Army as well. Basically what Rudy does there, he's a maintenance worker. He does maintenance in the kitchen and lunchroom. He works around both areas. We taught him how to, wash dishes, mop and sweep the floor. Fire safety is a big thing that we try to push, especially when they just get employed. Because, in case of fire, especially, there's, just in case of emergencies, just so they go around it. And that also applies when we're in job clubs, when we do fire drills. So it's like, when we do a job club, we try to reinforce back when they're actually employed, so the skills are transferable.
Right. And Rudy, it sounds like you like this job and you like the coworkers and being more independent. That's wonderful. Anything else you like about this role?
No, just like to be independent, improving on my work skills.
And improving. That's awesome. Yeah, me too. Sometimes it's harder than others. Depends on the day. But congratulations on finding a job that works for you, and that it sounds like your employer is excited that you're there. We're going to see if we have any, questions, which I don't have it. Yeah, I don't see any questions, but if anyone has any questions, I just looked at the bottom of the screen. Please type them in, and we can hang out just for a little bit more while we're talking a little bit. in the meantime, if any employer is interested in hiring fantastic workers like Rudy, now you know what a job coach is. So if you were like, I don't know, what would it be like if they had a job coach? Now you understand, because Jerry explained it very well. So you could certainly email us if you're an employer at findgoodpeople@goodwillny.org. And we really know that hiring people with disabilities is a good business decision, besides what we heard about the American with Disabilities Act and creating the opportunity. It's turned out that the Department of Labor always shows that hiring people with disabilities has great retention. People stay for a long time. And the cost of turnover, we know, is very high for employers. So we hope that if you're an employer that hasn't or wasn't really sure about hiring folks like this, that you obviously take the opportunity to contact us, and we will walk you through the process. We also really make sure that we customize this work. It sounds like we've really made a good effort with this employer, especially to get the right job coaches and team in place. So the employer obviously is very happy. So that's great. So we do have a question. And the question is, how large is the cafeteria at USMMA? It's like a big college, you said. And this question says, I understand they serve over 500 people in a single meal. Is that true?
Yeah.
So it's pretty big. They do have morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Usually when Rudy comes in, it's during lunchtime, so it's extremely more packed than the morning.
Wow.
So we do have like a time schedule where they do need a shift. So Rudy comes in like at 10:30, and he has until 11:45 to get everything done amongst his other the other participants and also that work there. They have about 2 to 3 hours to get everything done, meaning the outside, the inside, and the thing. So when the students come in, it's all clean and polished, which is what Rudy helps in.
Starting to be able to picture it, because when I heard those words, it was hard to understand. Great. And do you get to work in the kitchen, or is it just in the kind of they call it front of house, back of house? Do you work on both sides?
I work on both sides. I pick up the garbage in the kitchen, break down the boxes, and then I wipe the countertop, mop the floor, and then we move to they call it the dining room. That's where the people eat.
Right, the dining room. Great, wonderful. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Rudy and Jerry, for chatting with me today, and for everyone to join the Good Talk with Katy. We hope that lots of employers will be inspired here in July to hear this story and understand how they can have a dynamic and exciting and rich cultural workforce together with folks like Rudy and Jerry joining the team. So it's really great to have you guys here, and I hope everyone has a great summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You as well.
Thank you. It was really lovely.